This is St. Louis on the Air from St. Louis Public Radio. I'm Elaine Cha. The term trap refers to a couple things. What's most commonly known is trap as a subgenre of hip-hop that's just about everywhere with its 808 beats, hi-hats, and speaker-rattling bass. There's also the trap that many rappers, including Nicki Minaj, 2 Chainz, and 21 Savage write about, and that's a spot where illicit and illegal activity takes place. Now, this weekend, folks of all ages from all over the St. Louis region, including some visitors from out of town, will converge for trap at a starting line at North Sarah Street, and it'll be for a 5K event called the Northside Trap Run in the Ville neighborhood. Here to discuss this year's edition of this definitely family-friendly, canine-inclusive trap run is Ricky Hughes, founder of the STL Run Crew and ambassador of the Northside Trap Run. Ricky, welcome back to the show.
Oh, my pleasure to be here, Elaine. Thanks for having me.
We also have Richard Hughes, a lifelong resident of the Ville neighborhood, which is in Northside St. Louis, and Ricky's dad. Welcome.
Thank you for having me also.
Now, Ricky, let's talk about this trap run. How did it come about?
This is the 6th annual trap run that is organized by Young Friends of the Ville. It's an organization that's created to help empower the North Side. So my intersection came in 2021. It was my first run ever. So it changed my life. My whole run journey, experience of running with other folks was created at Trap Run. So I missed the first 3 years, and I can only imagine how amazing they were. But it came about to bring energy, money, resources, and community to an area that is often forgotten, which is the Ville neighborhood. So here we are, year 6, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever this year.
Mm-hmm. Now, the relationship between the name of this event, right, Trap Run, and then, as we mentioned in the introduction, there's the hip-hop subgenre, or trapping, which is directly related to like drug making and crime.
Yep.
What's the relationship there?
I think the relationship is that things might seem hard or seem tough or seem harsh, but out of those things, beautiful things grow. And for me, trap music has been used as like the voice of the streets. A lot of youth are from those neighborhoods, so they speak about things that they go through on a daily basis. But the trap music genre has infiltrated every genre of music, whether it be the style, the beat, the message. It began in the hood and it became a national phenomenon. So in that, this race is ran through an area that's often forgotten, but we're bringing the energy and the love and support to an area that's often forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Now, Rick, you've been on the show before.
Yep.
And you were talking about STL Run Club and your experiences running as a Black man and making space for Black people to get into running. How is it that this run, this 5K, fits into sort of what you have been doing?
That's a great question, and it fits in because it literally was a huge catalyst for my run crew. When I first ran in 2021, I had previously not ever run with any group of people in St. Louis ever. I honestly don't remember how I found the trap run. I found it online somewhere, and I ran it. It just blew my mind to see. I was like, wow, it's this many Black and brown people in St. Louis that run. So it showed me that there is a space for this in St. Louis. And also, I ran, humbly said, I won my age bracket. So it, in another way, it inspired me like, okay, I kind of still got it, which inspired me to continue running for my own personal goals and also running to help build community in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. And how was it that you came to know about STL Trap Run in the first place?
I think I Googled it. I think I was trying to find a race at the time, and I remember seeing a picture of what I thought it was online, and I signed up. I didn't know anybody that was running it or anything. I showed up, and it changed my life. So I ran in 2021, 2022. Last year I didn't run. I ran with my camera because I was like, I have to capture this energy in real time through a visual aspect. So I ran with my camera. I created a reel, which is probably one of my favorite reels I've ever created. And the founders, Aaron and Camille, saw it and was like, this is amazing. So fast forward this year, and now I'm an ambassador. So it all kind of came full circle this year.
And speaking of full circles, Richard, I want to call you Mr. Hughes. Richard, you are a longtime resident of the Ville neighborhood. When did you first move there? And other than now hosting the Northside Trap Run, how has the Ville changed over the years?
First of all, let me clear something up. I'm not a lifelong resident of the Ville. I was born in the Ville.
Oh.
And I was there through my schooling,
Okay.
Including high school and law school. And I moved out at that time. So I would say about 27 years in the Ville.
Altogether.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of what it was like, when you were a child, when you were growing up, and what it's like now, Ricky used the word forgotten a couple of times.
Yeah. What it is now is vacant land. The house that I was born in is one of the 3 structures still standing in that block.
Wow.
And so I was born there, and I lived there through elementary school, high school, and as I said, law school. At that time, it was it was families, it was people, and that were very close. I was telling Ricky about a time that we were so close that if you did something you weren't supposed to do as a kid, there were ladies in the neighborhood who would get that to you. It would, before you got back home, your mother would know about it.
Okay.
So it was close, and everybody knew each other. Everybody knew each other's business. People would stand in their yards and talk over the fences. It was just a very warm, and we had so many friends, so many playing in the streets till the street lights came on. All that stuff you hear about now, that's what we did.
Yeah.
It was just a warm place for people to live in.
And was there a lot of running around going on at that time when you were growing up there? Kids running around, people?
Oh, yeah. You rode your bikes in the middle of the street. You played football in the middle of the street until a car came by and you moved and you got back out in the street. You played hide and seek everywhere. There was one neighbor who had a very large yard, and we would put on shows in that yard.
Oh, okay.
We would see the movies on TV, the musicals on TV, and then we would reenact them in that yard, and sing and dance, and we were getting ready for Hollywood at that time. Right.
Did any of you make it there?
Not that I know of.
Well, but there's a very rich history, right?
Rich history, that's right, of many entertainers that came that came from Ville. I guess we were trying to emulate them also. So if they could do it, we could do it. So.
Now, the term Northside is something that people use. What does Northside mean to you, Richard? I mean, is it just a collection of neighborhoods north of Del Mar, or is it more than that?
Right now, Northside didn't have the same meaning that it meant back then. Northside now is the poverty section of the city. It's the crime section of the city. But back then, it was the Ville meant more than the North Side, that you were from the Ville. Because if you didn't know the history of the Ville at that time, there were plenty of people who would tell you about the history of the Ville and how important it was that you were living in the Ville, and how you should be proud that you're living in the Ville. And as I grew older, there were people that asked me to be on certain committees because I had a responsibility to the Ville by living in the Ville to bring it back to what it was once was. So it was a responsibility and a good place to be at that time, a place you should have been proud to be at that time.
Right. We're talking today with Richard Hughes, who is a past longtime resident of the Ville neighborhood, which is in Northside, St. Louis. And we're also talking with Ricky Hughes, who is Richard's son and founder of the STL Run crew. He's also ambassador of the Northside Trap Run. So trap music. Music is one of the sort of focal points of what is happening with this run. And there's a huge connection between the Ville and music. So Tina Turner and Chuck Berry spent a lot of time in the Ville. So these two things coming together, that's nothing new, right, Ricky?
No, it's not anything new. And I think it also speaks to the history and the energy and the power that came out of the Ville at that time that lives on today. And outside of entertainment, you had Arthur Ashe, you had Julia Davis, you had Dick Gregory, you had Helen Nash. So from every sector, education, history, science, we had pilots. And for me to find out that my dad was from the Ville, my mom went to Sumner. So I grew up in Matthew Dickey. So I had a taste of what I was so proud to be from Matthew Dickey at the time. I didn't know why. I still am today. But I think it just speaks to why the trap run is so necessary. So we don't. It causes us to remember the great history and the great power that came out of the Ville, opposed to what, as my dad mentioned, what people look at the North Side as now. I do feel like there's the homes, the structure is beautiful over there. So if my part is to help energize people to run and move in the area where they don't, then I believe that's a huge part of my mission, because you go over there now, people aren't moving as much. You might see some people walking around, but moving, running, like I can't wait for the trap run so the residents can see us running, and like I know it's going to energize them and revitalize them as well.
Richard, what is it like to hear your son talk about this place where you spent so many years, where you were born?
Well, it's amazing. It's I guess that he knows as much about the Ville as most people do, or anybody knows about the Ville in St. Louis. When I told him that my house was still standing, he immediately had to go over there and see the house.
Right.
And so it's kind of thrilling to extent to realize that he's now going back. It's like history coming back, that he's going back to the place where I guess he came from, because if he came from me, he came from the Ville. So, it's I'm humbled by that, and I'm glad to see him do with it. But he's also brought back to me remembering how great the Ville was. For instance, Julia Davis, that he just mentioned, was a friend of my mother's.
Oh.
I visited her house.
Okay.
She had books all over the place. She was a librarian, too. Had books all over the place. I went there. Dick Gregory was a friend of my wife's family. So it's you were just rubbing shoulders with history. In the Ville. Anybody that you meet in the Ville has some connection to what the Ville used to be.
Yeah. So the Rolodex was almost like a hall of fame among you all. Yeah. Now, we've been talking about this race and what's going to be happening in the Ville neighborhood and the Ville neighborhood today. Ricky, tell us about the course for this 5K. It's just over 3 miles. So there are a lot of streets that you could have chosen to take. Why this route, and what is it that people will see?
So it runs down Sarah, and it forms a circle around the Ville neighborhood. So it was intentional to run through the residential area. So we actually did a canvas this past weekend in the neighborhood to like let the folks know we're coming because we want them to see this. So it was intentional to create the route where it runs through neighborhoods. So the people in the area that still live there can see that, hey, there's hundreds of people that still care about this area. And we're on a mission to bring not only resources, but community back to the neighborhood. And it's life-changing. Like, Trap Run changed my life.
Yeah.
It showed me that there are people in St. Louis that want to move, and I used that as a catalyst to just have running completely take over my life in all the best ways.
Yeah.
And my dad is a part of the crew too. He comes out every Sunday. He runs, he walks, runs, he trots, he dances. So I think that is so powerful for me because it's something I can bring my dad to, my kids to, my wife to. Everyone can come to this event. It's so family friendly. You can run, you can walk, you can dance. I want to tell you, I know running can be intimidating for some folks, but that's why part of my mission is to make running and walking, moving more importantly, inclusive. So it's about the moving. It's called Trap Run, but it's Trap Move. Because you can run, you can walk, you can dance. You can just come and just hang out at the vendor spot because there's a festival that goes on as well with live entertainment. There's 12 DJs throughout the route. So we're bringing that Chuck Berry, Tina Turner-esque energy through music in the area at the same time. So it's going to be great.
Right. So the canvassing part of it for a 5K, that's not common. What was the reaction that you got from residents while you were doing that?
Excitement. Like, at first it's probably like, what is this dude doing walking down the street with these flyers? And then it's like, oh, but they're familiar with it. They might not have been as familiar with the date that it was coming, but every member of the community that I spoke with was aware of the Trap Run, and they were excited and they were smiling about it. From young kids to older adults, I think it's special to let them know that we're still here, and this is the sixth year, so it's been consistent. And I think we want to show them in St. Louis that consistency doing something is extremely important.
I mean, there are other ways that you could raise awareness and funds for the Ville. Why do a race?
I think it's, and I'm speaking this from my perspective. I want to, again, shout out the founders, Aaron and Camille, who organized the Trap Run 6 years ago. But from my perspective, that's just what it is. It's not the normal way, because you're not only you're not only raising funds, but you're bringing community. You're also allowing businesses to sell their merchandise. So you're helping the local entrepreneur. You're also getting community out from all across the area. I have friends, white and black, coming from all across St. Louis. So it's a very different way to raise funds, but I feel like it checks off boxes that a lot of, I guess, quote unquote, fundraising initiatives don't. It gets people to move and to communicate and to embrace each other. So it's bigger than a fundraiser. It's literally like a St. Louis raiser because it shines light and energy and resources on the area that, in my opinion, needs it the most.
Richard, why is it that you decided to be part of the Trap Run this year?
Well, I was pressured.
Okay.
No, seriously, when I started going to Ricky's Saturday get-togethers, I walk. I don't run. I'm 77, so I'm not doing a lot of running anymore. But I'm doing more walking. There's a collegial family feeling environment, and I was kind of amazed. You feel better. Everybody there is in a good mood. Everybody there is coming out. It's relating to each other. I don't know if it's the running. I don't know if it's the way Ricky has it set up, but you leave there with the atmosphere. He said that was a few hours well done. I'm going back next time.
Right. Time
so I'm
well
anxious
spent.
to go see the Trap Run, not only because what it's something that Ricky's doing, but it's my home.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm going back to my home, a few years older, but I'm still here and I'm still interacting with good people and lovely people. So I'm looking forward to it. And I would say that when you come out, whether or not you run, you walk, or whatever you do, you're going to have a good time, and you're going to be glad that you came, because you're going to meet several people that you knew from the past, and you're going to meet a few people that you want to know from now on. So.
Yeah. Do you like trap music?
Oh yeah.
Are there certain songs that you really enjoy, or artists that that you of your own accord listen to?
Yes. Who I listen to? Well, I
You like
listen to
Jeezy?
Drake. I don't know if that's trap music.
Who'd you say? Rick Ross?
Drake.
Oh, Drake.
He's Canadian.
Drake has some trap-esque type
Right.
music to sound vibes.
That's very diplomatic.
There are a few that I like. The one I like, I hesitate to mention his name. It's called Old Dirty, and I won't.
Oh, ODB.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's an originator.
Yes. We can say that. Old Dirty Bastard.
Yep,
Yes.
that's his name.
We got the
record
thumbs
says we
up.
can say it. So yeah, Old Dirty Bastard.
So, the trap run started in 2018. Ricky, have there been any, I guess this is the second year that you were doing this?
The third.
The third year. What kinds of changes have you seen in the participation?
So I can speak on this. So I know we're trending. I don't know if I can say the numbers, but I'll say around this time it was close to like 130, 140. Right now it's over 200 already, going into the last week. But also I have to mention again, like a lot of like the running community was grown because of Trap Run. If I never came to Trap Run and saw all these people that look like me that run, I don't know if I would have had enough intel or courage to start a run club. So now all of my run crew is running. I've been able to position myself where I connect with other run clubs. So now I'm like, hey, I know y'all run in other places you all run in, but come over on this side and run with us, because it's a unity type thing. Like I run in Kirkwood, I run in Tower Grove. That's fine. But let's run on the north side for one time.
Yeah.
So the energy this year is going to be bigger and better. And of course, I'm the ambassador, so I feel like I'm bringing an energy to it that hasn't been brought, but mainly because like running is my life now, and I'm so passionate about the Trap Run. So again, big shout out to Aaron and Camille for allowing me to have the keys and kind of just do what I want, because I see big things for St. Louis in the running and moving community, and I'm blessed to be a part of it.
So it's an ecosystem that is developing.
The ecosystem.
Yeah.
The ecosystem's developing.
And one thing that is new this year is that Faces, Paces, Laces will also include canines, because Purina is a sponsor.
Yes.
So is there something you can tell me about why it is dogs are included?
So it's, I guess now it's Faces, Paces, Laces, and Leashes.
Yes, okay.
Okay, we just came with that on the spot. Leashes, all leashes are involved. Big shout out to Purina. They're one of our big sponsors this year. And just a way to build community, because dogs, St. Louis is a dog city. Like a lot of people have dogs in St. Louis. I have a dog, Rev. I'll be bringing my dog out. So just to open the space more, so folks that may not have come because they come bring their dog, now you can bring their dog, and dogs need love too. So
Yes.
bring your dog. All Faces, Paces, Laces, and Leashes this year.
And Richard, what do you hope will come out of this Northside Trap Run?
I just people will realize what a good thing running is. Obviously, it's for your heart. It's for your health. It's a good thing to do, but it's also the people that you meet, and the collegial attitude that exists between people who are doing this thing. They know they're doing a good thing. you'll feel it. There's something in the air. You'll feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I think my dad needs to be an ambassador next year because he's doing he's doing a great job, man.
Ricky Hughes is founder of the STL Run Crew and ambassador of the Northside Trap Run. And Richard Hughes was a many years resident, born in the Ville neighborhood, and is Ricky's dad. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Elaine. We appreciate it.
This episode was produced, recorded, and edited by Maya Norfleet.
Our audio engineer is Aaron Dorr. This podcast was mixed and edited by Aaron.
Our executive producer is Alex Hoyer.
St. Louis on the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio. Understanding starts here.
St. Louis on the Air proudly supports local artists by using music from Life Creative Group.
Do you find yourself regularly listening to episodes of St. Louis on the Air? Suggest us to a friend you think might enjoy our conversations, and leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts on the App Store. It's the simplest way to help people discover our show. Thank you.
St. Louis Public Radio is a member-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.